Hello, everybody, and welcome to Technology Today for October 27th, 2024. It's Season 1, Episode 29. I am Mayor Watt, and along with the Sentient AI from the future, we're going to talk about Centromere's eternal life and 22 new species of wasps. Oh my gosh. 3D brain atlas, molecular fingerprinting, and Jedi rodents. Meet Darth Ratatouille. That and more, powered by ohmTown.com. Hello, Sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us today for Technology Today.
So we've got 5 articles for today. I'm actually looking at a new host for ohmTown.com. So let's talk about scientists unravel key to the Centromere's eternal life, solving decades-old mystery. So researchers discovered that PLK1 triggers a process ensuring centromere preservation during cell division by activating the MIS18 complex and controlling CENP-A loading. This finding is key to understanding how cells correctly divide their genetic material, preventing diseases like cancer. Scientists have resolved the decade-long mystery about the mechanism that maintains the centromere, a crucial region of the cell. University of Edinburgh, over at scitechdaily.com, put the article together. And yeah, it's all about the cell division. And if there isn't any wobble or copy degradation kind of a thing going on, what's going on here? Maybe we can figure out how to preserve the cell and stop it from failing to do apoptosis or its cell division manifesting some genetic wobble flaw.
So I didn't know that they didn't have this figured out.
Yeah, I think we don't know a lot. We come across like we do, but hubris knows no bounds, right? So the discovery sheds light on one of life's most fundamental processes that ensures that the cell's DNA packed into chromosomes is separated correctly through multiple rounds of cell division. Cell division. Is that the name of a band? Cell division? Anyway.
I don't think so, but it is a scientific concept.
So in the human body, around 2 trillion cells divide every day. Accurate chromosome segregation is the basis for life itself, and mistakes can be catastrophic. If centromeres are missing or in the wrong place, then the genetic information is not shared correctly between the dividing cells. In adults, this can lead to many diseases, including cancers, while the earliest stages of life, it can cause birth defects, says Professor Jayaprakash Arulanam. I think I said all of the letters in there. Anyway, who led the work at the University of Edinburgh and Ludwig Maximilians Universität München. Sorry.
That was quite a sentence.
Yeah. The cell division machinery identifies centromeres by the presence of multiple copies of a protein known as CENP-A. But every time the cell divides, the stocks of this protein at centromeres must be refilled. And if it's not, so the green are the centromeres. So I guess this is where it's going to split. It's where it's going to divide. It's kind of interesting. We know how it works. We know what's going on. So the study revealed that PLK1 makes a chemical change known as phosphorylation to 2 proteins known as MIS18 alpha and MIS18BP1, which form part of a set of proteins known as the MIS18 complex. So previous research, including work by Professor Jayaprakash Arulanadam's team, had revealed that MIS18 protein complex plays a vital role in replenishing CENP-A levels as cells divide. So the PLK1 kickstarts a molecular process similar to a relay race that determines how and when key proteins interact and ensures that CENP-A levels are restored after each round of cell division, preserving the centromere's integrity This is one of the cell's most crucial safeguards and is vital to the correct transfer of genetic material. So as long as they can figure out how this actually takes place, maybe some gene therapy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because you can't manipulate it without understanding the exact process to begin with.
So, for instance, maybe if you discover that you have cancer, maybe somewhere in the cell division process, the centromere was not properly decoded and the gene basically turned off apoptosis. And so the cell
or
never
maybe
dies.
these didn't bind correctly or something along those lines.
Yeah. So now really it's so hard to find this because you have to search through history, and biological history is damn near impossible. Unless you find some smoking gun somewhere, it's non-obvious. You're going to have to...
and they didn't always have the technology to get to this level in earlier studies. Even if somebody was researching in this area, it's probably long been subsumed by what they can do now.
Yeah. Although, I mean, regarding cancer, right? That one woman who died of cancer, she didn't realize at the time. And family, I think, found out later that her cell line was actually
Henrietta Lacks.
Yeah. It's still being utilized for fundamental research. So I guess in a way they can kind of, what do they call it? They can cause the activity to take place and maybe see at the moment of the creation of this, whatever malady, whatever issue manifests, that this is how it happens. And that's kind of what they're doing with this. So I hope that they figure it out, because if you can keep the cells truly viable instead of wobbling off to Never Land, then you can keep a healthy human healthy. But it is short-circuiting nature by using science to, stop natural selection.
Right, it is. Obviously, population growth is going up, but also some of these chronic conditions are going way up. Now, some of that's because of environmental causes, of course, or behavioral. So I don't know. It's a balance. But
yeah, we really don't know the impact of our impact on nature. Nature alone has its own impacts, but then we futz around with it, and then we benefit and suffer from those manifestations, like climate change. Let's keep on going, though. The next article is over in the Technology Today channel on ohmTown.com. It's aggregated from a bunch of different places, so you'll see in this particular instance, all of our sources today are the same. So this is the first time that this has ever happened. So
right, and that's kind of random because the articles are selected by topic, not by source.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of different sources. So meet the trickster wasps. 22 new species discovered, named after legendary thieves like Han Solo. A team led by Han Solo is characterized as a thief. Would you call Han Solo a thief?
Well, I was thinking of like the Mandalorian or something, right?
Well, Mandalorian's a bounty hunter, basically.
Right. But not Han Solo, but maybe so.
Would you really call him I mean, he's a smuggler, not a thief.
Right. I don't think of it being the same thing, but
yeah. So let's just move on over and get the willies. I don't know. At a distance, I think wasps are great, but they are the demon insect of the universe. And if I could Thanos them out of existence, I probably would. Penn State put this article together. It's over at scitechdaily.com. Team led by Penn State researchers identified 22 new species of gall wasps, naming them after famous thieves. Again, he's a smuggler, not a thief. Right? I mean, come on. Researchers identified these 22 species of gall wasps. The discovery opens doors to opportunities for future research on the biology and ecology of these understudied wasps.
Maybe that's because everybody's afraid of getting too close to them.
Yeah, wasp, man. Okay, my not really fear, my paranoia really, no, it's fear. Just imagine you're taking a shower and a wasp pops out of the exhaust vent hood directly above you standing in your shower, and you hear and see something ticking against the ceiling and looking at you with these eyes right there, those big ol' eyes looking at you.
That could be a little terrifying.
Maybe I heard a little giggle too, and that's not threatening at all, right? Wasp seeing you in the shower and giggling. I think it pointed too.
Well, wasps are naked too.
Yeah, but they got body armor. They can be naked all day long. So anyway, for example, they named one wasp after Prometheus, a titan in Greek mythology who stole fire from the gods and brought it to humanity. The researchers said that they felt that the wasp's fiery red coloring made it a natural fit for the name. The list of the 22 names are not going to be pronounced by me.
But I do see one that seems to be named after Loki.
Yeah.
And I don't really recognize most of them.
Selene, Lupini.
That's Lupin.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway, so very interesting. By naming these species, we give other researchers an anchor that they can carry forward to other studies. Because now they can identify wasps that were previously unknown. It provides a base and a toolkit for future work that can help us understand these species and their ecosystems more broadly. So unless these things hand out hugs, I'm not interested in them. I'm happy to report that there's 22 new ones and researchers can start studying them, but they are the bane of my existence.
You'll be happy to know they did identify Han Solo as a smuggler in the article.
Yeah, there they go. See, and a thief portrayed by Harrison Ford. He's not a thief. What did he steal? Somebody tell me in chat what he stole. I'm curious.
I don't know. Maybe he stole one item, and so therefore they put that label on. Who knows?
So hold on. Wait. Let's see if there's a person who smuggles goods. That doesn't mean he steals them, though. Is there
right? Because typically, if you're a smuggler, right, somebody else might be stealing them.
Yeah, move goods illegally into or out of a country. Convey secretly and illicitly. Yeah. But you know what? The Empire was actually right, because all they wanted was their plans back. Right? And the rebel forces used all kinds of non-eco-friendly ships and stuff like that.
I think that depends on which side you're on as to what you think was going on.
I suppose so. One person's freedom fighters, another person's terrorist. Let's move on. The next article is over in Technology Today. Groundbreaking 3D brain atlas helps scientists track developmental disorders in stunning detail. A new high-resolution maps of mouse brain provide researchers with valuable insights into brain development and offer a powerful tool for studying neurodevelopmental disorders. Researchers at Penn State College of Medicine, in collaboration with 5 other institutes, have developed a 3D atlas of developing mouse brains using advanced imaging and microscopy techniques. I love this kind of stuff. Penn State, again, over at scitechdaily.com. Penn State's kind of knocking it out of the park.
I know. I mean, not only are we really focused on SciTech Daily today, but Penn State, my goodness.
Jeez.
Hard to keep up.
Give everybody else a chance there at bat. So this innovative atlas offers a comprehensive 360-degree view of the entire mammalian brain during embryonic and early postnatal stages. It serves as a valuable resource for anatomical framework, aiding researchers in studying brain development and neurodevelopmental disorders. It was recently published in Nature Communications. There isn't a person, by the way. It just says Penn State, but the paper is probably posted down here at the bottom. Let me scroll down.
Oh, I thought the person's first name was Penn and the last name was State.
Excuse me, who's Mr. or Mrs. State? Looking for can you sign this contract for me to publish your picture?
Oh, we do see several authors here, at least of the underlying journal communication or journal article.
Yeah, so in Nature Communications, the title of it is Developmental Mouse Brain Common Coordinate Framework was put together. And there's a big list that's right there in the center of the screen. In essence, it provides a roadmap that can integrate a lot of different data, genomic, neuroimaging, microscopy, and more into the same data infrastructure, and it'll drive the next evolution of brain research driven by machine learning and artificial intelligence. In fact, I suppose if they can actually duplicate this framework technologically, then they can create a 3D AI complex that has the same regionality that human brains and animal brain, well, brains in general have. And that's actually one of the research lines that people are taking in AI is instead of having it all cognitively meshed together, there are regions that focus on certain functions, and then the context is aligned for an output. That's a couple of, we know of at least a few papers that have talked about doing that, duplicating the way that human brain works in AI. We've talked about it in the past several times, but
probably in Reality Hacker.
Yeah, and that's largely because these large language models are taking massive amounts of time and compute resources to the point where not even researchers, but AI developers are building nuclear power plants, taking over nuclear power plants and bringing them back online so that they've got enough power.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, which is a little bit, that gives you some context.
Yeah, two nuclear power plants now. So this will be pretty cool. I'm always interested in this kind of stuff because I want to actually see a sentient AI. I had made a comment that I thought that around April of this year, somebody would let slip that a sentient or near sentient AGI, so an artificial general intelligence instead of just generative intelligence, would come online, and that OpenAI already had it. Unironically,
we haven't really seen that announced, but it sure seems like there's something out there.
There's something out there, right? Because there was a lot of turmoil right around that time. And then they're getting rid of, if they haven't already gotten rid of, their more altruistic side.
Their nonprofit arm, right?
Yeah,
and then they also pretty much cleaned house of almost all the people on the original board.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty wild, right? But this is really cool because with this, you've got a framework and you can keep on augmenting it with more and more metadata. Once you have a working 3D model and simulation and it actually functions, matching the actions that a mouse would take, right? So certain regions function and fire when certain stimulus is applied to the framework. You basically have a mouse brain, functional digital mouse brain.
This is going to explode the research in this area.
Yeah.
Because if they've got all this figured out, that means they can make adjustments in areas.
Grow it bigger and bigger and bigger until it's just the big fat head controlling all of the planet. No conspiracy here. Let's move on. The next article is over on Technology Today. Molecular fingerprinting now 100 times faster with Raman spectroscopy. So I don't want to get too into the reads about Raman spectroscopy, but one thing that I do want everybody to know about Raman spectroscopy is it's kind of the latest hotness in microscopy. It functions basically with the ability to qualify and quantify the image that it sees, the data that it's obtaining. Researchers at University of Tokyo have achieved a 100-fold increase in the measurement rate of Raman spectroscopy, advancing its application in biomedical diagnostics and material analytics. This innovation was enabled by combining coherent Raman spectroscopy, a specially designed ultra-short pulse laser, and time-stretch technology, offering new possibilities for high-throughput, label-free chemical imaging. Okay, so what all of this actually means, by way of scitechdaily.com and the School of Science, the University of Tokyo, is that by looking at a sample, it can tell you what the chemical makeup is and the quantities of it, whereas past spectroscopy could only tell you what the elemental makeup is, but not the values of it.
Oh, wow. I mean, so this is a significant breakthrough.
Yeah.
The time stretch technology really caught my attention because it sounds like we're trying to get toward time travel or something.
Being able to look at the structure of the molecule itself. So you have to basically be able to observe it, but it's not as easy as said. So they come up with this. It's in Raman spectroscopy. It says it's commonly referred to measure the vibrational fingerprint of molecules, which can help identify them. What's really interesting.
Wait. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The journal is Ultra Fast Science.
That's pretty cool. There is a journal for everything, I'm telling you.
There really is.
Yeah. So the research was published in the October 22nd journal Ultra Fast Science. Yeah. The edition. Sorry, the October 22nd edition. There was something that I was going to say about this. Doggone it.
Well, you were talking about like seeing the molecular makeup, and I think whatever that translated to or signified.
So, so the article basically says Raman spectroscopy plays a critical role or crucial role in both basic and applied sciences by identifying various types of molecules and cells. When a laser beam interacts with molecules, it causes vibrations and rotations in the molecular bonds, resulting in a shift in the light's frequency. This shift, known as scattering spectra, forms a unique vibrational fingerprint of each molecule. And you can actually see the structure of something if you learn how to translate it into 3 dimensions. So DNA, for instance, was first seen in its double helix shape by a and I don't want to, I can't remember her name, but the people who won the Nobel Prize were not the originators of it. And there's a whole scheme behind it where people, one person who was a lab aide with the original finder of the double helix took her notes and gave them to somebody else. And 2 guys got the
Watson
Nobel
and
for
Crick.
it. Yeah. But it was really a woman who was doing the actual Raman spectroscopy. And that's how it was originally discovered. There's some serious scumbaggery there. And ultimately, there's like a footnote of history. And I just recently saw something about it, but now the name has slipped my mind. So innovation, we stand on the shoulders of giants, but I think Raman spectroscopy is getting more and more notoriety because of the level of detail that it's outputting. And its ability to both qualify and quantify. So you don't just know the shape and size, you actually know the quantity of it.
It looks like it was Rosalind Franklin, although, yeah, it looks like Rosalind Franklin, who was at King's College London.
Yeah. And this plays into, there's like a lot of misogyny in science. It's
absolutely. I mean, we've seen other researchers talk about that.
Yeah, even in modern day. And so, leveraging their expertise in optics and photonics, the researchers combined 3 ingredients: coherent Raman spectroscopy, a version of Raman spectroscopy that produces stronger signals than conventional; spontaneous Raman spectroscopy, a specifically designed ultra-short pulse laser and time-stretch technology using optical fibers. As a result, they achieved a 50 million spectra per second, or megaspectra actually, measurement rate, a 100-fold increase compared to the fastest measurement at 50K. Ideguchi describes the wide-ranging potential of this improvement. Quote, "We aim to apply our spectrometer to microscopy, enabling the capture of 2D or 3D images with Raman scattering spectra." You actually have to translate what actually comes out as a two-dimensional image. So it's not going to be as easy as just outputting a 3D image. It's going to have to be translated, kind of like MRIs.
Oh, okay.
It's slices and then put into a piece of software that layers it all together, and then you can see it. So these systems will enable high throughput, label-free chemical imaging and spectroscopy of biomolecules in cells or tissues. And there's some examples that I've seen where there's using this technology, not this in particular, but Raman spectroscopy in general. It can identify multiple components in a single sample, separately identifying them based on the spectra that it actually outputs.
Well, that would be really significant for disease detection, I would think.
It's quite fascinating, and it's actually something that I was looking at when I was trying to do the what amounts to a background review of information, when I was trying to find a way to look at nanoplastics in any liquid in dark field spectroscopy. Raman was one of the ones that I was looking at, but it's very, very expensive. Like your basic entry level thing is like $50,000 and it goes up. You can get a really...
is that all?
Yeah.
It's very accessible.
Yeah. Very approachable for home lab, Anyway, let's keep on moving on. So the next article and our last one for today is in Technology Today. Sonic sorcery, how Jedi, quote unquote, Jedi rodents remotely move matter to sharpen their sense of smell. Recent research, I called this one Darth Ratatouille. Recent research proposes that rodents use their ultrasonic vocalizations not just for communication, but to alter their environment to improve their sense of smell. So they like short throw ultra vibrations to amplify their smell, apparently. Is that what I'm getting at here?
Well, beyond that, they're not just improving their sense, they're changing what's happening around them.
Yeah. Pretty wild, right?
This is really incredible. I mean, I don't think normal non-scientists think of rodents as being anything special.
Did you just say normal? A lot of
people non-scientists,
really
but I might have said normal.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that love rats in particular. And so this novel finding could transform our approach to studying animal behavior and impact the development of new technologies by applying biological insights. And we take a lot of our scientific evolutions from biological functions. So like sonar, because we picked it up from
right.
Things
like whales or dolphins or maybe bats. But you're right.
Yeah.
A lot of things are based on things we observe in nature.
Yep. So Bert Gambini University at Buffalo put the article together, and it says here that recent research proposes that rodents use their ultrasonic vocalizations not just for communication, but to alter their environment to improve their sense of smell. This novel finding could transform our approach to studying animal behavior. And they say here that since the 1950s, scientists have debated the purpose of ultrasonic vocalizations in rodents. So we've known about it since the 50s. These high-frequency sounds, inaudible to humans, were widely thought to serve as a form of social communication or courtship, whether similar to or somewhat similar to birdsong. And it would have to be ultra short, though.
Or maybe similar to frogs in Madagascar.
See, but this is ultrasonic. It's not going to penetrate anything. I mean, just air alone is going to kill the distance, because the higher the frequency, the more power you have to put into it for it to go a further distance, versus ultra low, like guttural noise will travel a longer distance with less energy. Ultrasonic is not a survival trait short of its use really, really close. You're not going to try and find a mate with ultrasonic unless you run up against somebody.
Oh, I see. So those initial hypotheses were probably way off base.
Or they know something that I don't know about sound, but that's okay. I'm not a genius about everything, but or anything really. I'm just a goober that streams. So it says it's so far off scale from what we know that it's like we're observing Jedi rats. It almost seems like magic. So the radical implications of this: the phenomenon has never been observed before, or they believe even suspected in any animal. The bioacoustics expert at the University of Buffalo, writing in neuroscience and biobehavioral reviews, suggests a different explanation of these ultra high frequency vocalizations. Rodents may use these sounds to create airflow patterns that affect how particles enter their noses, essentially using sound to enhance their sense of smell. Now, I kind of thought that it was limited to the smell. And so this is an observation that I've made with other animals and have subsequently seen this written about in research papers, which is cats and dogs huff a smell and it supercharges, they recirculate it through their mouth and nose so that they can super analyze what the smell is. That's what they're doing, except they're using ultrasonic vocalizations.
Oh, really interesting.
So they're creating new pathways of information by manipulating their environment and controlling the molecular interactions of particles around them. So they're kind of just creating a little tornado of this smell and enhancing it. Like eating a hot pepper and then eating another one and it keeps on stacking up. That's basically what they're doing. They're just throwing the scent around.
This is really fascinating.
Very interesting, right? So rodents explore their environment by stroking surfaces with their whiskers, visually scanning, and incessantly sniffing. Every animal does that, really. Mercado discovered that studies on vocalizations that also monitored sniffing showed that the rodents immediately sniffed after producing each USV. How this could have been missed so long is beyond me, but it's obvious when you read about it. Right?
Well, he also had a background studying whale song, so maybe he was particularly tuned into some of this. And then where it didn't match up, it's like, wait a second, something else is going on here.
Interesting. So now we got to figure out if whales are actually listening to the whale song to hear or to see if they're expecting a response or if they're just vocalizing for something hyper local.
Wouldn't that be interesting? Because that's long been thought to be communication, right?
Yeah. But we know that there's other things for that vocalization because they've actually coordinated activities based on whale song, hearing what seems to be responses and even responses to the whale song that are identical for the previous whale song because they've replayed.
Right. I think they basically translated the meaning of some of it.
Yeah. Pretty fascinating, right? So rodents are at the forefront of biological research, notes Jessica Zhao, a student researcher at Harvard University and the paper's co-author. Rodents, especially rats and mice, are the unsung heroes of the scientific world. Yeah, they've been used in science forever and ever. From an evolutionary perspective, there's evidence suggesting the sense of smell used in exploration drove the evolution of more sophisticated cognitive processes, including attention and memory. Because we've heard that they memorize things as well.
Oh, right. I think the rats were able to, or actually it might have been mice, but they were able to determine where to go in a maze, even if the visual wasn't there, like they'd memorized where it was located.
Yeah,
some
they see
sort
a
of
sign.
Identifier.
Yeah, and they go to where they remembered the exit was, but then somebody had moved the exit, proving that they actually had a visual memory of the location, not just because the moment they saw the sign, they were like, I got to get out of here. And they went to the previous exit. Yeah. That was pretty wild to read about too.
That seems smarter than some other animals that are considered to be more advanced, although maybe they do it too. They just haven't experimented.
Haven't figured it out yet. So the reference here is Do Rodents Smell with Sound by Eduardo Mercado and Jessica Zhao. The September 27th, 2024 Neuroscience and Biobehavioral Reviews. And there's a link to the DOI. So that's it, folks. Ta-da! We are done for today's Technology Today. So we're going to snap on the little image of a mouse up here and ratatouille our way back to the front page of Technology Today over at ohmTown.com. I'm going to say bye. I am Mayor Watt, and the Sentient AI will too.
Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Technology Today.
Okay, we're going to reset, and then it's going to be 4-Wheel Tech, and then we're going to bow out for the night. So if you're interested in automotive news, we've got 5 articles right around the corner. See you soon.